Today I want to address the question that came in through the Eustachian Tube Dysfunction 24/7 help group. The Jaye Wellness Studio loves to honor questions and keep bringing them this way. The question came in today is, I wonder if mold has anything to do with my eustachian tubes getting swollen, causing pressure in my ears, clicking sounds, and the answer is yes. The problem with mold is when we start to breathe mold, we impede airflow. Airflow then becomes so restricted that we start to have our pressure being irritated. Now the pressure in both our ears need to be equal so that way we have proper balance. Well, what happens is as you breathe in that mold, the mold spore, something called mycotoxins, you breathe those in and fungal components, you'll start to irritate the lining of the sinuses. And this is what's causing a lot of the problems with our eustachian tube. So if you ever suspect that there's mold in your home or places where you work, and you seem to always get the same sensation every time you walk into the building or you walk into a certain area at your job, and you start feeling this congested, this sinus buildup, this pressure, this fluid, be thinking about how mold can have a tremendous impact on our sinuses. Now, the lining of our sinuses, our mucous membranes, very sensitive. Now, a lot of you out there deal with seasonal allergies, and when you have a cold, it's the same. Inflammation builds up, and over time it starts to build up in our sinus region, and it starts to impact our ears. Once that pressure is not equalized, you'll start developing a lot of symptoms, not only anxiety and depression, but you'll start to develop this off balance feeling, something called our equilibrium. This has a lot to do with the symptoms that we deal with. Now, when I was struggling myself, I didn't understand that concept. How can the ears have anything to do with balance? It all has to do with our inner ears and the tiny bones in our inner ear. And deep down inside our ear, when that pressure starts building up, you'll start to develop infections and problems with, again, anxiety and depression starts to go along with all of these things that I'm naming. So yes, mold has a tremendous impact on our ears, has a tremendous impact on us developing eustachian tube dysfunction, tinnitus, PET. And over the course of dealing with this, you start to develop TMJ. It can definitely be related to all of these things. I know from my own experience, I developed eustachian tube dysfunction, which then developed tinnitus, which then developed PET, which then developed TMJ. And all these things were related. So imagine all four of these diagnoses, these issues all at once just hitting you. So if you suspect there's mold, please do your absolute best to get an inspection. Know yourself, listen to your body. If you go into these areas and you start feeling weird, sometimes it's just a little adjustment of your feelings that bother you. It can be very subtle. So you really look forward to those symptoms that you have. You got to really pay close attention. It doesn't always is as simple as a sneeze or my nose are completely backed up. It can be a little as just you feel a little weird. You basically is the only way I can explain how that might sound to all of you. So if you go into certain areas and you start getting these reactions, keep this thing, this terrible thing of mold in mind. Alrighty, my wellness people, I hope this video was very helpful. If it was, take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the Jaye Wellness Studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we're here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.